Hey guys, Mike the Vike here, back for yet another Rust update video. This week we've got some pretty nice improvements to the AI system. It's not rolled out just yet. We also have a really interesting ore minigame change that's very similar to another game, but I'll show you that soon. If you enjoy watching these update videos, please leave a like on the video, helps quite a lot. First thing we're going to take a look at is this new ore thing. So when you approach a ore now, if you look around it, you're going to eventually find a little shiny spot. And when you hit that, you're basically dealing 150% damage on this, and that will keep increasing 50% each time to a maximum of 300%, which means you're basically going to be mining a heck of a lot faster. If you get good at finding those spots, you can farm a lot quicker. Now you're getting the same amount of materials total. It's not like you're getting more, you're just getting it faster. Now I personally have been playing the heck out of Fortnite recently, and it's really funny because I was kind of in love with that game because I really enjoyed the mining system they have, and just because you go around destroying stuff and they have the exact same destruction little thing. This is fun. I like the destroying part is quite good. It's a wonderful feature because it makes mining and farming a little bit more interesting. Instead of mindlessly hitting nodes, you now have something to focus on and a little bit of a mini game. They've also introduced these game tip things. You can see there's one on the bottom of my screen now, and it's a little bit annoying, but I guess it's good for beginning players. Now, honestly, you probably want to disable it this way because I'm not a huge fan of it. And you can disable it if you just type in gametip.hide gametip. Boom, and she's gone, which is excellent. I highly suggest it because I bet most people playing the game nowadays are pretty darn familiar with it. But for future players, no problem. This is great. They're also making some adjustments to the menu, again making it easier for new players, so in case you're having trouble finding servers, you can just click here, very easy to see, find game, and you'll be able to click here and then, operate as normal. And then also, I've done this myself, but you now have to confirm when you want to exit the game. I've done this many times where I accidentally click this and then boom, I'm out of the game and I have to restart, which takes 10 years. So that's quite nice actually. They're making more progress on the scientist AI. It sounds like it's getting better and better. They're trying to make it understand cover properly and hopefully being able to generate kind of cover points on certain rad towns. It's all sounding great, but it's definitely a little complicated. One thing that is cool this week though is server owners can now spawn in these scientists. And if I go spawn scientist, boom, there is our very own scientist, and he's going to shoot the heck out of me. The only problem is they stand still currently, so they're not very functional. Once this guy's out of ammo, he should make his little buzzing sounds. Come on, man, do your little... There you go. Which sounds really cool. Like, I love that kind of Half-Life little radio noises. Now, these guys take a heck of a lot of damage, by the way. It's like 10 hits with the semi. 12 headshots with the semi. So currently these guys are tanks. Oh, and they all drop the same loot right now. They drop an MP5 and then a stack of 1,000 LR300s. So if you find one of these guys, you're in luck. They also officially took out DirectX 9 support. This is because Unity, the engine the games run on, is also taking out support fairly soon too. So they're kind of just modernizing with everyone else. So skin cache optimization has been a bit of a problem for Rust for a bit now. Caching those separate skin files was just a little bit intensive, but Andre apparently finally fixed it, and he says that he's totally removed any kind of lag spikes that people got previously, so that's great. Now Andre also says that he's fixed the EAC disconnected glitch. I'm pretty sure almost everybody has experienced this where you try to join a server and it says EAC disconnected. Supposedly this has been fixed now. I'm not sure. I think I've seen it pop up a few times in my server console, but any progress is good. They're also looking into visual shelves. his experimental thing is that when you go into this loot box and you deposit items, the items will actually show up physically on the shelf, and then you can pick those up directly by pressing E on those items. Now, this is more important for things like rad towns, so that instead of having barrels and boxes everywhere, the loot will actually be like on shelves and stuff. So this sounds really cool. It makes it a little bit more realistic, more immersive. I mean, they could also expand this to things like, could you imagine maybe an armory shelf or a weapons rack, and you individually go to pick up your AK, your favorite AK, and stuff like that? That would be sweet. Now, you might be wondering where the tank is. Sounds like it got a little bit too complicated and they had bigger things to focus on, so they're going to kind of hold back on that for a little bit. Thomas is now taking a look at adding a lower tier backpack. I'm not totally sure what the low tier backpack is for. I would assume if you pick up a small amount of resources, then that's what shows up, and then if you've got a ton of resources, the big backpack shows up, or something like that. Now, Taylor's been working on player variations, and you can see them here. Some of them look a little bit interesting, to say the least. I think that there's some work to be done. A couple look very interesting, very unique, and I think that she'll probably do a better job of making them look. Actually, you know what? The argument could be made that there's lots of different looking people out there, and so it's fair. Of course, this is a total work in progress, so I'm sure that it will look a heck of a lot better by the time it's in-game. Now, Alex went kind of crazy with all these tank sounds. He is doing some really, really complicated things having to do with the sounds of the tank depending on what RPM the tank is at. So of course, if you're accelerating, the RPMs go pretty darn high, and then if you're just cruising around, it'll be lower, and he has to adjust the sound for every different RPM. Sounds like he has developed a system to do it though, so whenever that thing shows up, I'm thinking it's gonna sound pretty good. They now nerfed the cost for the semi-auto pistol. It only requires 8 high qual instead of the previous 15, and it no longer requires a spring. These days you don't really see the semi-auto pistol being used too often, so hopefully this will improve that. Okay, and with that said, that's going to be the end of this week's update. Fairly small update, but the ore minigame thing is going to be cool for sure. Anything to make the game a little bit less repetitive and boring, I definitely support. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.